Be ready. 15 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, I wish to speak a few words on this bill, sir. I feel that there was no necessity for moving this coffee amendment bill as the coffee board administration has been carried on efficiently with the cooperation of all the members of the board, both elected and nominated. I do not know what the government are aiming at by moving this amending bill. Government have not pointed out in what way the elected representatives of growers worked against the interest of the government or the board or the planters. Instead of decentralizing powers, they seem to concentrate powers in the center. I think, sir, this is a bad policy. The government should decentralize powers and distribute the same among the people. Sir, I know that the nominations representing several interests such as labor, consumers, trade, etc., are being made by the government. Till now, the coffee growers used to elect their representatives to the board. They had the right of franchise and used to elect representatives in whom they had confidence. But this bill contemplates to deprive the planting community even of their elementary right of electing their representatives. What is the object and background of this amendment? I want to ask. The Honorable Minister was pleased to say that this board is on the analogy of the tea board and all that. There are three boards now: the coffee board, the rubber board, and the tea board. The functions of this board are different from the functions of the other two boards. You cannot place the functions of the coffee board on an equal footing with those of the tea board or the rubber board. The same rules as can be applied to the rubber board cannot be applied to the coffee board. Sir, the coffee industry is now facing a great crisis. The prices of coffee, both in the internal as well as in the external markets, are going down from year to year, and the cost of production is on the increase. The cost of manure and state implements has gone up beyond limit. The increased labor wages, introduction of provident fund and bonus, and several other provisions of the Labor Act are standing in the way of development and progress of the coffee industry. Sir, our coffee production is not much and we are not able to cope with the foreign competition. Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, I rise to support the motion which has been moved by my friend. As he has pointed out, oil is a very important element in the industrial development of any country today, and especially those countries which are in the process of development have found that if they were to base their industries securely on oil, the whole development is fairly quick and that it is possible for them to get good returns in a short time. So, while fully agreeing and even emphasizing the need for the nationalization of oil industries in all its aspects in India, I am afraid that because of the past mistakes of the government of India, even if we were to pass this resolution today, it will not be effective in one of the most crucial sectors of the oil industry, namely the oil refineries. When agreements were entered into by the government of India with the oil refineries, many of us pointed out that these were iniquitous agreements and they will work against the interests of this country. At that time, our voice was not heeded, and it was sad from the side of the government that they had done all that they could to protect the interests of the country, and that the agreements marked a further stage of development in our economy. History has shown that the critics of the government were right and the spokesmen of the government were in the wrong. We know that the present minister in charge of oil is very anxious to see that the oil industry develops as fast as possible in the public sector, and he is doing all he can to see that the industry is so developed. He is also trying to see that the profits that are being earned by the distributing companies as well as by the refining companies are brought to some reasonable level. This House knows how difficult this task has become and how endless negotiations have gone on for years before any concrete results could be had. At first, we had only half decisions. Today, I do not know if any firm decisions have been taken, decisions not only on the part of the government, but decisions which have been accepted by these companies, and whether the government even today is at all in a position to enforce these decisions on these companies. Sir, this is a short bill, and the background of this legislation is briefly as follows. The House is aware that in the autumn session of Parliament last year, an amendment was made to our law relating to parents by inserting a new provision, namely Section 23 to the Indian Patents and Designs Act 2001, with a view to empowering the controller of patents and designs to grant liberal working licenses to the interested parties in respect of patents for food, medicines, surgical, or curative devices at any time after a patent has been granted on terms and conditions to be determined by him. On that occasion, sir, some members were anxious to know the action taken by the government on the recommendations of the Patents Inquiry Committee. I have just introduced a comprehensive patents bill which incorporates most of the important recommendations of the committee. Sir, the House would appreciate that it would take some time for the comprehensive bill, which involves a complete overhaul of the present legislation, perhaps, and may necessitate a motion for reference to a joint select committee to be passed by Parliament. In the meanwhile, it has become necessary for us